Good Friday has always centered on Jesus' passion and death through the way of the cross. It's just what we heard this evening. In the 18th century, the custom of the way of the cross developed in Rome of having a public praying of the way of the cross at the Colosseum in Rome on Good Friday. And it has evolved over the years. Over 20 years ago, Pope John Paul started the practice of composing those prayers himself every year. And then under Benedict and now Francis, this job has been given to other groups of people. And Pope Francis has been especially creative. 2 years ago, those prayers were written by prisoners and staff and family members of an Italian prison. And last year, the author of those prayers were children from Rome. This year, it is volunteer families. All of this, which I just told you, reminds us of the beautiful truth that Good Friday and the way of the cross belong to everybody. It is part of everyone's story, no matter what the circumstances. It makes us realize that the journey to Calvary didn't just happen at one time 2,000 years ago. It is not just a piece of history to be preserved in plaster on the walls of this church. It's happening today. Over the last couple of years, there have been countless passions of Calvary lived out right here in Coxsackie, right here in New York, frankly, around the whole world, especially most recently in Ukraine. So many of us have walked that rocky road. The road of Good Friday is very different for each of us. The route ever changes. It may lead us on detours that we have never expected. And while the path is different for each one of us, so is the cross. Because not all crosses are made of wood. Cross can be a marriage, maybe a job. Cross can be a relationship, an addiction. It may take the form of anxiety or depression or loneliness. The cross can be racism, bigotry, poverty, injustices of all kinds. And sometimes, for some of us, the cross can be life itself. But walking this particular journey, walking beside Christ, we find something unexpected. We find hope. Through this reading that we heard today, we have seen courage and compassion and charity extended in so many ways. There have been countless Veronicas and Simons who have tried to wipe away the pain and help carry the burden in friends and family and even volunteers and strangers. It is this that I think draws us to this service year after year, season after season, because we witness with intimacy and clarity what God did for us. We are drawn to the streets of Jerusalem, to the struggles of the Son of God who's been wounded and bleeding and weakened before the whole world. We see someone unjustly and unfairly judged and dismissed. We see him fall, get up, and move on. And we encounter the heartbreak of his mother, the tenderness of St. John, the strength of Mary Magdalene, and the kindness of Joseph of Arimathea. We share the anguish of a difficult death. And then we realize that the Son of God endured all of this because of his love for us. And that he understands in real time the deepest way that the pain is of what it is to be human. That is the power of this service this evening. And really why it belongs to every single one of us in a very personal way, and why Good Friday is part of everybody's story. But in the end, we also know something much more vital, something that can help all of us as we walk our own passion. Here is our consolation. Here is our strength and our hope. And that is that Good Friday is not the end of the story. Pope Benedict has put this beautifully. In times of trial and tribulation, he said, we are not alone. The family is not alone. Jesus is present with his love. He sustains us by his grace and grants the strength needed for us to carry on, to make sacrifices, and to overcome every obstacle. And it is this love of Christ that we must turn when human turmoil and difficulties threaten the unity of our lives and our families. The mystery of Christ's suffering, death, and resurrection is precisely what inspires us to hope.